Hello, Bulldogs. Today we're going to do Adobe Premiere tutorial number 2. We're going to be talking about shapes and fills, importing media, adding it to the timeline, adding transitions and effects, editing those effects, and then a couple of little tricks at the end. To start with, yesterday we had, last time you watched the tutorial, we started trying to make a default still. That's what this is right here. Remember, this is called the magic wand. This is called a roll because it rolls up and down. And lastly, we made this one, which is called a crawl because it crawls left to right or right to left. Today, what we're going to do to start with is we are going to add what is called a stroke or a box shape to a title. Okay, so here's our title here called the default still. To add a shape, you just go over here to the title or toolbar, click on a shape. Okay, and they have all these different settings. This is that you can do. I'm just going to make a standard old square to start with. I'm going to put it right on top of my title. I don't want all this gradient tone, so I'm going to come over here and instead of a 4-color gradient, just a little complicated for right now, I'm just going to turn that off to solid. Okay, and then for my solid color, I'm just going to click on the little, you can either click on the dropper to match something, or I'm just going to click on the little color palette. Let's just pick a bluish color and click OK. Okay, as you can see, my title is behind it, and we don't want that, so I'm going to click on the arrow tool, click on the default still, right click, go down to Arrange and choose Bring to Front. That will now bring my title in front of my box. Okay. Here you can resize your box however you want. If you want to change the color, remember that the fill color is the color that fills in, and the stroke color is the color that fills the outside. Okay, so if I wanted to come down here to an outer stroke that's checked and turned on, just click on this little guy right here, change the color to whatever I want. Let's, for whatever reason, pick pink, and I click OK. And my color changes to pink. Now this one has several strokes on it. As you can see, it has like 5 different strokes. So if you want to come down here, you can just turn these off by hitting the check mark, and that will turn things more solid. Okay, as you can see now, my stroke color is a solid pink rather than a bunch of shades of pink. I just turned those off. All right, after that, remember that for title slides, you can always make titles move on screen and off screen by clicking on, when you have the title open, click on Roll Crawl Options. And you can either make it roll or crawl left or crawl right. That's if you forget to choose the correct title at the beginning. This one we just want to still, though. I'm just going to click OK, X out of this, and then down the timeline it should be corrected. If I wanted to edit this, all I have to do is double click it on the timeline, and it'll open up again. That's how you edit it. Also remember that this little yellow line that you see going through all media should always be pulled toward the top. That is called the opacity. If I pull that little yellow line down, as you can see, it starts getting faded. Okay, we don't want that, so I'm just going to pull that right back up. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is importing media. To import media, you just click on File, Import. Make sure it is in your folder. Mine is on the desktop, I believe. Once you open up your folder, it should be in the data drive, of course. Open up your Premiere folder. Your scav folder should be saved in there. And I have pictures of military, but you guys have pictures of other things. You can draw a big box around all of them, to highlight, and then just click Open. You'll see them dragged into your media panel, your project panel, and that they're all highlighted. That's the time to pull them down. So put your mouse on one of them and drag them all down to the timeline. Now, what happens if you click on the wrong one or it clicks off and they're not highlighted anymore? Just come over here to one of them and highlight and draw a big box around these. All your pictures that you're trying to add to the timeline. Put your mouse in the middle of one of them and drag them to the timeline. Once you have them on the timeline, what we're going to do is we're going to add effects to each picture. Okay, actually we're going to start by adding transitions to them. To add transitions, let's start by putting our default still at the beginning of our movie. We're going to put this roll text, roll text at the end of our movie, because it's going to turn into credits, and we're going to put the default, we're going to put this crawl title just on top of a picture. Okay, we can edit those. We can always change these. So I'm going to change my opening title to something more suitable than just default still. Let's call this one, for you guys, since we're doing scavenger hunt, maybe you call it My Scavenger Hunt Pictures. I'm just going to call this Military Day. Okay, and these little buttons center things, so you can just click on the little center, horizontal center button to center it for you. Okay, and then to add our different effects, we're just going to come over here to the effects, the video effects. And the first one I'm going to add is under Stylize. It is called Strobe Light. You just drag it onto the picture and let go, and you'll have a strobe effect. Okay, now you could have either applied that to the actual picture or to the actual title. I applied it to the picture. Okay, if you want to edit the effect, you always click on Effect Controls. And here we can change the strobe color, how long the strobe is, how long the strobe lasts, just by dragging these numbers to the left or right. I'll change just the strobe color. Let's make it red. And now if I click play, the strobe color's red. Okay. Let's go to another effect. If we come down here, this one's called Mosaic. If I add it to a picture, everything turns mosaic. Again, if I want to edit that effect, I come up to Mosaic. I say I want more lines of horizontal, more lines of vertical. Okay, this is if you wanted to do, I don't know, you see that done all the time in TV shows where they're trying to mask the person's identity. Okay, next one over. Here's another effect. Let's go under a different one. This one is under Distort. This one is called Mirror Effect. Add that to this one. Okay, now this one's a little tricky. All you have to do is come up here and adjust it. And as you can see, it applies sort of a mirror effect. Okay, so what I want you to do is go through and add a different video effect to each picture. I'm not just going to keep continuing. You just pick different ones and see if you can get some really neat effects. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add transitions. Okay, after transitions are located at the bottom of video effects. And the way you apply transition, I'm going to apply some simple ones, is you click on the triangle and you simply drag them between two pictures. And this one's called Flip Over. And let's scroll down and put a different one on. This is called Dissolve. And this one's called Dip to White. Okay. Now if we zoom in a little by hitting plus on the keyboard, you can see that there's little transitions there. Now let's see what they did. This one is Curtain. This next one coming up is, this is a flip. This is a fade in, fade out, as you can see. Okay, so we just applied different transitions. You can edit the transitions by making them bigger or smaller. Okay, you kind of have to zoom in for that. I wasn't zoomed in enough. Let's zoom in. You just come up here to the top and see I get a little tiny, I can kind of stretch out my transition to last longer or shorter. And then finally, two little things I want you to add at the very end. Let's zoom out for this one. We're going to have a title that we make. Change your title to something unique. Change your credits to something unique, say directed by me or whatever. Add a video effect to each picture. And then finally, we're going to click on this little guy right here under New Item, and we're going to add bars and tone. This one's really simple. You just click your bars and tone, add it to the end of your title. This is when the movie's dead over. You've seen this before, dead air. Okay, and then at the front, you've seen these before in old-time shows. We're going to add what is called a universal counting leader. Here, we're just going to click OK. And here you can change any color you want by just clicking in the little boxes. Choose some colors that are kind of vibrant. Okay, so you get the idea. You just kind of change the colors to whatever you want. And then you click OK. And at the beginning of your movie now, you drag this down here. You have a really cool counter. Check this one out. Has kind of the old-time feel to it, like an old movie. Beeps at the end, which you can turn off when you make it. So, opening counter, intro title. Change this title to be something different. Maybe it says, "We love our veterans." 10 pictures, transitions between each picture, video effects on each picture, and at the end, we're going to have some credits. We're going to change this rolling title into credits and some bars and tone. Okay, I'll have the requirements up in the overhead. Good luck.